Those are projects that benefits all without segregation, like constructing water dams, extending piped water, maintaining some feeder roads within the villages, constructing classroom blocks to make sure that those immediate neighbors who have got major challenges of human-wildlife conflict can benefit directly and kill a blind eye to us as we do conservation. You get guys, eh? Yeah. Then that's what we call revenue sharing. We do school outreach. We go in schools, including tertiary institutions like universities and other institutions, while spreading the gospel of conservation. Where conservation started from. In Genesis, I don't know the chapter and the verses, but I know that it is in Genesis. God started creating from air, then trees, then wild animals, then later on a human being. But later on, he gave powers to human being to control the others. But the human being became again selfish. That's how some species became extincted. It is the influence of the human being. But as you know, God, guys, I'm not preaching. Eh? he instilled knowledge again to man to make sure that they gazette these kind of protected areas, protect his creatures, avoid them getting extincted. Hey, that's how it came. Then we do a lot of work. We do resource use management. Communities neighboring us, we allow them every Saturday to collect some firewood to make sure that they can also earn a living. Others sell, others do for domestic use. We have a fish landing site. They go there and do fishing and earn income, take their children at school, get food, and earn a living in that way. So that we do that one to win their hearts in conservation, because they are the same people that will do poaching if you don't enhance or empower them. Okay, for that one it is also enough. Let me go to ecological monitoring and research department. That one deals with habitat management. That's habitat manipulation by like uprooting invasive species like some acacia species, Opuntia, Ras natalensis, species like Lantana camara, the thickberry bush. Those ones that take over the habitat and get distorted, we get distorted with our animals. They do that one. They also do wildlife census every after 2 to 3 years. They do animal welfare. We excavate dams. This park is found in the Ankole Masaka dry cattle corridor. So meaning that we have a lot of sun shining than raining. Meaning that in some seasons we lose lives of these animals. So they excavate dams to make sure that our animals can get ad libitum water or enough water in those periods so that they can sustain their lives, or to avoid them overcrowding at the lake and making it difficult for game drives, nature walks, and other tourism activities. So there is a lot. Of course, there is also disease, pests, and parasites management. They do monitor ranger-based patrols to monitor animal health. You may ask to say, how do you know? We know. In health versus health, signs and symptoms are always there. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, when you find me moving like this, what will come into your mind? Meaning that I'm not okay, isn't it? You report. You get? Hey, you guys, that was not a Chinaworo of dance. No. That's a sign of ill health, meaning that I'm not okay. So when you meet a giraffe doing like that, they will have to report. We don't have vet doctors here, but they communicate to Queen Elizabeth. There is they are vet doctors, and at work So those doctors comes and do assessment. They assess, if possible, if there is a suspicion of a disease outbreak, they dart those animals, pick blood samples or tissue samples, take for testing. After bring back the results, if they find that there is like an epidemic or a pandemic, they do massive vaccination. If it is just a disease, just as an individual disease, they will do again the same that thing, and they treat that animal. Anyway, with that department, I think let me also stop from there.
What is that thing?
Darting, DARTING.
What does it mean?
Okay. For darting, by the way, some of you might have been thinking the other dart. Darting, okay, it's like the process of using it's a tool. It's a veterinary tool that where they mount a drug by pressure. It is, they inject an animal using that darting gun in a distance without reaching at an animal. It has a binocular, it has a lens, and then they will poo with that syringe. Poo. You look the way how you write that poo. Yeah. So that's how, yeah, they will shoot, not the bullet but the syringe, and that syringe is self-injecting. There will always be that chemical is a tranquilizing chemical. Tranquilizing. Okay, it's like, okay, in medical language, it paralyzes. Hmm? Okushanyaraza wari umushiki wanje ninga yari gumudu. So that's it, guys. I think we can keep on moving. Those are 3 departments so far. Now, after protecting the resource by law enforcement, communities being sensitized to avoid them from poaching, animals being catered for on their health, then tourism becomes possible. You get? Animals are there, they are in good conditions, they are not hunted. Meaning that now tourists, when they come, they can be taken while interpreting for them. For tourism, it's all about hospitality. They come, they welcome you. Oh, you are welcome, our dear clients. So we have this and this tourism products. What do you prefer? Game drive, nature walk, boat cruise, cycling. Now when they give you a ranger guide take you through, that one will just be interpreting for you nature in its simplicity. You see, this animal behaves like this, it feeds like this, it mates like this, it reproduces like this. Nature interpretation and hospitality. That's tourism. And it is possible because of the other departments. You can see how they work hand in hand. Then the last one, finance and administration, that one is like an oil. It's like a lubricant, paying salaries for workers, maintaining vehicles, making sure that everything that needs finance, maintaining roads inside the park, as you are going to be seeing. As long as all those are in place, then things moves on very well. So there is a lot and a lot that I can explain to you. Maybe I've talked about briefly on the tourism activities, but let me, I'm going to come for questions. Thank you. So the tourism activities that we have game drives. Game drives are divided into 2. We have day game drives. Those ones just target the animals that can be seen during the day. Then we also have night game drives where they mount a spotlight while trying to spot in the bush at night, looking for the nocturnals like leopards and hyenas. Then we have nature walks. Nature walks, you must be putting on things like, even if they are not like this, but non-shouting colors to make sure that you've not scared away animals. So that one is always liked by tourists that need nature in its details. This dung is for an impala. it's not for a kob, it's not for a giraffe because of this and these reasons. That carcass was killed by a leopard, not a hyena. Then you give the reasons. That's the nature walk activity. And it is possible here because we don't have elephants and lions. In parks where there are those animals, it is not there on their tariffs. But here we don't have those animals. As I told you, animals are adapted depending on that you know the reason why you don't have gorillas here. Why in Bugindi there are no giraffes? You get hopefully at your level you know those things. Then cycling. Cycling, that one is an activity liked by some countries or some tourists that like exercising and that like exploring nature while not making noise. You get? They enjoy the activity by doing exercise as they also enjoy viewing wildlife. Boat cruise. There you enjoy the dust and potholes on water. Boat cruise. We also have like 3 to 4 boats at our lake. Probably we are going to reach there. Forest walks, hill hiking, and other activities. So all those are there. I know I may not exhaust everything. Maybe briefly on some of the challenges.
You also talk about the nature of the vegetation here. Compare it with those of Bwindi, Semiliki, Queenie, and the animals that are in there.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Actually, when I was starting, that was the reason why I had to first categorize these parks. The forested parks and the open grassland savanna parks plus the mountainous parks. All those parks lies on different altitudes. You know, altitude influences a lot when it comes to vegetation distribution. Still, it will influence animal distribution. It will influence almost everything. This is a fairly low land because our highest altitude point here it is 1,828 meters above sea level. It is really low. So vegetation cover. The equatorial forests in Bwindi, Semrichi, and is it where Mugahinga favors different species of animals because the temperatures are even different. Like for example here, in the rainy season, we always lose a lot of species of animals. There are those animals that cannot withstand cold weather. You get? Then there are also those animals that cannot withstand heat stress. Altogether. As you are moving, I'm going to show you an animal called the waterbuck. I know you might even be knowing that animal, some of you. If you look at its morphology, the skin. Okay, I'm sorry for that. The skin coat, it has shaggy hair. The fur or the hairs are longer. Why? For trapping warmth. Because for it always lives in lowlands and in waterlogged places where the temperatures are fairly low. But it is adapted for that. When you see a zebra, some people say that maybe a zebra is just a painting or a statue. And its fur is very short and tiny, meaning that it cannot live in areas with cold temperatures or cold environments. So different animals are adapted to live in different areas according to how they are made genetically. All together, guys. So these are the reasons why you will not have many zebras or many kind of species of animals, maybe like in Kidepo, and you may not have zebras in Queen because those areas are fairly hot. Some species may not survive there. And still, it is the same reason why You don't have, or we don't have gorillas here. Here we have a species of monkeys called the black and white colobus monkeys. For them, you will not find them anywhere else apart from Rubanga forest, riverine forest. They like in the air up in the tree canopies. Where there are not enough tree canopies, you will not find them there. Altogether. Like for example here, we have 4 major species of acacias that you will not find in Bwindi. We have Acacia hawkeye, the yellow flowered acacia. Actually, this one and that one, those are acacias. When we move inside, I'm going to show them to you. We have Acacia gerardi behind that block. That one that is fair greenish, dark green, it's Acacia gerardi, creamy white flowers. We have Acacia polyacantha. It have, in Runyankore you call it chivere. It have hooked spikes, and their thorns, those spikes, it looks like nipples of a young teenage breast, or a girl with breast that is a teenage, just like this. It is called the chivere. Abanyankore nuko bagese. So we also have Acacia cebriana. That one is called Omtiaza, has the longest and sharpest thorn. We are going to see them as we move. He highlighted on vegetation. I'm trying to highlight some of the things as we move so that you can be reminding yourselves. So those are the major acacia species. And all those acacia species, they are well adapted to live in such environments. I've already told you that our temperatures are always between 24 to 26 degrees Celsius on average. But there are those seasons where we have even around 27.8 is super hot. So they have thorns. Of course, their leaves are modified into thorns to reduce the rate of transpiration. They have thicker cuticle, the bark, to reduce on the amount of water loss. The roots, tap roots, to make sure that they can even extract the little water reserves in deeper layers. All those are adaptations of those plants to live in such an environment. But in other areas where you find equatorial rainforest, you're going to find bigger or larger trees with buttress roots. For them, they have no problem with extracting water here and there. You get? Because water is always available. There is a lot and a lot. I know I'm not a fountain of knowledge, but at least maybe I can hear some questions. You never know, it can make me remember something that I didn't talk about, so that we can continue from there as we prepare for moving. He was the first one. Yes? Thank you. Because with humans, yes. But I'm wondering how you monitor animals. Let's say you're making a and you find you cannot notify animals that you're making animals. So I'm wondering what criteria do you do? Thank you so much. Sometimes when I'm asked, I feel good because that shows that you are following up. Census in wildlife, it is quite different from that one in humans. There are various methods of doing. We have random sampling, we have aerial counting, and line transect method. Here we always use line transect method. Oh, because our briefing was getting done. So we use the line transect method. Those the transect lines are imaginary lines, but made by GPS coordinates. So we always have those mappings, and we move on those imaginary lines. They are always 4 kilometers. We move on those imaginary lines while counting on our left and right where our eyes can reach. And by doing so, we don't just count a live animal only. We count a live animal. When you find a carcass or a dead one, we also count it and we put it in the column of the carcass. We also count dung patterns. Where we don't find a live animal, we can count dung. It is done by experienced rangers or personnel who can differentiate between dung. This one is for an impala, this one is for a topi. So all of them are medium-sized antelopes, but you can differentiate that dung altogether. Where there is a live animal, you count that one, you leave the dung. Where there is a dead one, you also count it. Then they have other methods of analyzing that data. They come up with an average mark or an average total population that is beyond 75% accurate. Not 100, quote me well, but beyond 75% accurate. That's how they do it. Then there is also aerial counting for the larger mammals altogether. Then we have night counts and roadside counts. So all those ones, they are different techniques. Thank you. Hopefully I've tried to answer you. Yes?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and dear listeners. I would like to know, like you talked about sensitization of the community against how do you manage stopping these animals from encroaching into the community?
Thank you so much. Actually, you have reminded me. I talked about community conservation and problem animal control unit, but I never explained that one. Problem animal control unit, it's the it's that department that deals with interventions. We do scare shooting. We go there and scare shoot those animals. Papa will scare them. They take the same route they used when they are going back to the national park. Then we do caging. We do trapping. For the cats, like leopards and hyena, we trap them. After trapping, laying that trap, after getting 1 or 2 of them, we capture and release. We release them back to the national park. We also do intervention like constructing short hippo fences on dams of people and doing trenches, hippo trenches. A very big trench where a hippo cannot cross. A hippo is a very big animal, cannot just move in a trench and cross. So there are many ways, many interventions that we do. Even we sensitize people and tell them that please, just in case of these animals make this kind of noise, they'll go back. Or this one, you are not supposed to make noise, just call us. We are going to come for intervention. Thank you. I think I've answered me. Pardon? That thing spelling. D-A-R-T, then I-N-G. 1 or 2 questions from this side and we go. Challenges. Oh, okay. Challenges: poaching, illegal grazing because we are surrounded by cattle keepers. Political influence. When people are asking for votes, they say, I'm going to give you part of this national park, when it is not practically possible. You get? Guys, other question you are going to ask them when